What's going on, everybody? Welcome to T3G, and today we're reviewing another tripod.
Appreciate the assistance from behind the camera there, doing a little social distance, hanging out here in the parking lot pimping, as we used to say back in the old days. And yeah, today we're reviewing, I forgot the name, but it's right up here, the tripod here. And now, full transparency, as always, they did contact me and they did provide me with the cash to buy this bad boy, so zero cost to me. Well, like small, like transactional, you know, difference, PayPal fees and shit like that. You know, it was like, it ended up costing me like $1. But I want to talk about some of the accessories first. You get your generic tripod accessories that every fucking cheap tripod comes with. So you have your generic Bluetooth controller for your shutter for your phone, which is cool because, like, if you are going to use it kind of for what they pitched it for, which was selfie taking. That's kind of cool because then you can just post it up and then take a selfie with your camera phone, which then it also does come with the little adapter. I'm not a big fan of these because for instance, I have a Google Pixel 2 XL and it is the Hello Google, damn it. Nope, didn't trigger. It gets triggered if you squeeze the phone. This is a very strong spring on all of them. I don't know why, it's like one of the strongest springs, so it pushes it more than I feel like it should, and then it often activates the fucking assistant. We have, you know, a generic Gopro mount, pretty standard stuff. You got your little bit packaging, just kind of tells you what it's for, what it does, standard stuff. We're gonna recycle that. Comes in this really nice felt, not quite velvet, but like a nice felt. It's like a nice felt bag with a little pull close, which is dope. And here it is. Here is the tripod. Now I want to say, first of all, I was ready to like really not like this. Reason being, I tried a similar tripod years ago that had a similar leg system, and what it did is it kind of locked into place when it opened, and eventually that mechanism, whatever that little plastic tab system in there was, it wore down, and then it just became this like loose floppy thing, right? This is actually pretty sturdy. Like obviously that one's gonna go, but it's stiff. Like, even when you hold it this way, it doesn't feel like the top's gonna flop around, and that's what ended up happening with that one, and that's why I was kind of like hesitant on this. But it doesn't do that, so I'm pretty excited about that. So my initial kind of reactions, two things. A, love having a removable ball head. That's cool, and that kind of, at the price point, pretty much knocks out the GorillaPod. I think you know my feelings about the GorillaPod. Check out this video. And we have a 1/4-20 on the base here with a nice rotatable screw, so you can really firmly attach your camera if you just want to go straight onto this. And then this bad boy, this seems like it's going to be one of those kind of cheapo where this thing moves and it tightens, but it doesn't. This is, again, in place, and this is going to be nice firm grip when you are tightening it to your camera, so you're going to have a nice hold. That's kind of a lot of cheap cameras. The tripod head, the 1/4-20, always is attached through some kind of weird method and some kind of like lackluster method, whereas this seems to be pretty good. Now we actually do have, it looks like, yeah, little, oh my goodness, I have no nails. So a little protection, and this is a nice little rubberized spot here. So then when you attach, look at that, that's nice, right? That's nice. And then you can really wrench it on there, and then this thing's not going anywhere. That's really dope. Focus change. That's what we do here. We do focus changes on this channel. We're just gonna rename it to focus change. And but yeah, so I'm gonna try this out, and the next time you see me, it will be in a couple weeks when I've had some opportunities to see what it's about.
I also want to mention that this happens to be plastic, but the actual ball in here that sits in here does feel like it's possibly like aluminum or some kind of metal, and it does actually tighten down pretty well, so for not having anything on it. But as said, it'll be tested to see how well that holds up.
And here we are 2 weeks later, and we are comparing, essentially, we're comparing the new one to the classic. I'm a little farther away than I would be normally because it's not on a tripod, so I had to put it on like a decline on the top of my car. and I wanted to stay in the same place to give you guys some sort of continuity between these two halves of the video here. But I want to talk about the qualities of this thing first. Super easy to attach, obviously, 1/4-20 right on top, and it gets on there pretty tight, right? Like, it's on there, it ain't going nowhere. Actually, when I try to undo it, when it's even a little tighter, it starts to unscrew the base plate, which is good, right? I think even with this big ass camera, it still gives you like a nice amount of grip. I've got big hands, so I feel like somebody with smaller fingers might even get a better grip on that. And then you have pretty much an all-purpose tripod here. Obviously, flexible, bendable legs. Pretty, like once you kind of wear them in a little bit, they're pretty solid as far as how easy they are to flex and how easily they go back to normal. I mean, this was, let's see, right there. Obviously, I'm not looking for perfection, but pretty dang straight right there. And then the ball head is actually the main thing I want to talk about. The ball head's kind of the nicest thing about this because, like, this is as tight, I don't know if you can see, like, I'm tightening this on there, right? And it's not going anywhere through normal use, right? But if you're just like, hey, I need to real quick adjust my angle, you can do that. Like, it takes a little effort, obviously, but through normal use, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna move around. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? You get the ability to move it around without losing rigidity. Overall, compared to my tripod, my little off-brand that I use all the time, couple things I've noticed. Obviously, the head, much better, just out the gate. The head that it comes with is huge, way better than the one this comes with. Obviously, I switched mine to the tack form piece, and that works for me really well, but I don't have to do that with this one. And on top of that, you could take off the ball head and still attach to the actual base plate. And that gives you a little bit shorter, obviously a little bit less flexible as far as angles, but it does give you the ability to have a shorter tripod, and if you just need to save a few inches for a shot, that's definitely a way to do it. Just height-wise, it does have a couple inches, maybe like, let's see, just kind of off the base. Yeah, about an inch on the other one. It has made it a little, I feel like it's a little harder to just kind of place into things and around things. Like when I'm getting ready for to leave the house, the pony wall, it feels like it's not as balanced on there. It feels like there's a lot of tripods sticking off. Like, it's a little dumb stuff. It's obviously not a functional thing, but it's just a preference thing. But then obviously on the plus side of that is you get a higher tripod in general. And the other thing is, and this is kind of a silly one, but these are separate rubber pieces on this one, right? These are separate rubber pieces. And if you adjust and you attach to something, you wrap it around a light pole or whatever, you end up having to twist these around and get them back into place. This doesn't really have that issue. Like this, the rubber does move around, but like very minimally, to the degree that like it's not noticeable. Like whatever you flex it into, you flex it back and you're back in business. You don't have to mess around with kind of trying to get this. See, like this is, like to get it kind of holdable again, it gets a little weird. So huge benefit there. Now again, comparatively, these are on ball joints, so I can do a little more with the actual leg itself. However, these flex pretty well, so it's not that big a deal. Plus then you kind of have a solid base that they attach to. It's, again, I think really more of a preference thing. It's not so much a functional thing. And the only other real difference is that this ends up, when you get it in kind of a good holding position, this is a thicker, like piece to grab onto. I have big hands, so for me personally, this is a better feel. It feels more comfortable. It feels more secure in my hand than this. This feels like it's just not as much of something that I'm holding onto, and because it is a little longer, it again then feels like it's off balance, and I don't have that security with it. So in the end, am I switching? Probably not. But I'll tell you, it is nice to have another tripod that I can have it flex onto different stuff. And it's actually, I'm probably gonna keep using it with the SL1. The SL1 is kind of my default secondary shooter. And it is really nice to have something else that is flexible. Plus, if this one should ever break, as you know, I did mention the first time I talked about that tripod, it does break, it can break. If it ever breaks, I have a backup, and it's a really solid option backup. So overall, this is a solid tripod. For the 25 bucks, I think it's absolutely worth the money. I think the price difference between the two is 100% made up by the ball head here. The head that comes with the little cheaper one that I have, it's just not good. I mean, there's just no way around that. It is not good. And this one is just stellar. I mean, for 25 bucks, a stellar ball head You know, like I said, like look, this is, like there's no camera on it now, so it's even harder. And this, the piece, like how to set is metal. I mean, it seems like it's metal. I don't know. Maybe it's metal, maybe it's hard plastic. Regardless, it's solid. It works really well for what it does. Once it's tied on there, like it is hard to move, and it has that. But if you need to, you can do like a quick angle adjustment. Really, overall, it's a solid tripod. Link down below. Of course, it's an affiliate link. So yeah, really, overall, 25 bucks, worth it. I mean, we're all about budget solutions here, and this is probably one of the best ones. Under 30 bucks, yeah, 100%. I would say definitely, especially when compared to last week's tripod, this is a great vlogging solution. Tons of options as far as flexibility, attachment to other stuff, and you have a really solid, firm tripod, and you can place it, and you can put a decently sized camera on it. I mean, the SL1 is a pretty hefty camera. I mean, it's still not a, you know, what are those crazy ones that McKinnon vlogs with? The EOS R, although the EOS R is much smaller, but like he used to vlog with like a 1DX Mark II or whatever, Mark III. I don't think there's a Mark III. No, was it 1DX? Yeah, I think it was a 1DX Mark II that he used to vlog with, and that's a insanely heavy and large thing. So I don't know if it's for that, but I feel like if you're vlogging with that, you're already making bad decisions. So yeah, get something lighter to vlog with. It's just real talk. I tried vlogging with a 70D once and wanted to chop my arm off afterwards. That's gonna be it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. This week for real.